bow, chicken, bow, cow. That's how you know that you're back on Diametric Opposition. Random noises and strange thoughts. So, I was bragging about Unite Ohio earlier, about the different capabilities that we've been able to affect in 6 months, just using the human capital that we have, that our systems are so willing to squander. I'm not saying this because she's my wife. We are really good at giving each other a hard time. We have one of those cool relationships where if something went down, we can tell each other, like, you were horrible, and then we can just sit there and laugh about it. She handles the press for us, and I misread my message. She had already handled the press. Now, when I say that, what I want you to know is that we have an incredible relationship with our local media. It is really freaking cool. We've been able to rely on them. Now, I know they're not mass media. They're not freaking, CNN, Fox, MSNBC. But they are on this story like we are, and they have helped us so much, and we've been enjoying such an incredible relationship, and that is because of my wife and her ability to speak with people, and this is the way that we're able to maintain an incredible rapport with the different organizations that we work with. So she had already handled that. And we got a couple of other updates. Right Side Media's station manager informed me during the break that Right Side Media is ready to support us on this. And, when they brought us into the family, they really meant it. They said, you're part of the Right Side Media family now, and they really meant it. They're really standing behind us, and they really want to support us in this, and I really appreciate that, guys. That's amazing. That's exactly what we need. When you're, I'm not saying that we're not qualified, because I think anybody can do this. Look, any of you could be me any day of the week, and I want you to know that. You're not hearing me speak with exceptional eloquence. The reason is because I come from a profoundly low formal level of education. I ended up educating myself later. That's why I sound like a nitwit when I speak. Because I'm freaking normal. Because I'm not, I don't have the degrees and stuff. That tells you that all of you can do this. Each and every one of you can do this. Any of you can do this. All of you can do this. You can get... There's so many outlets, and you can find your own. You can make your own, You can freaking use YouTube if you want. You can do whatever you want. There's so many, I think I use Spreaker that I stream through, and then Right Side Media picks up the stream and sends it out, So, there's a million ways that all of you could do this. Any of you can do this. This doesn't take anything special, and... we'll always help with, we're always creating new methodology. We're always adapting to what's happening around us, just like our adversary, Maybe we were taught by the best. So I just want to thank everybody. I want to thank everybody for their support, man. It's just incredible the way that people want to stand up for these families and be a part of standing up for their own damn community. They're like, look, it's mine. I understand the court systems fail. I understand the police are either, they either mess up or they're corrupt or, whatever. And, things, we don't want this to be the status quo. This doesn't have to be the status quo. This doesn't need to be the status quo. It doesn't make sense for this to be the status quo. So we're going to change it. I don't care what you say. I don't care what your cynical side says or thinks or believes, because it doesn't make any sense and you're not dealing in reality. You are taking other people's thoughts and adopting them as your own. It is time for you to start thinking for yourself. What do you honestly believe? What do you honestly believe and desire? And why don't you follow that? Is it too idealistic for you? Is it the idealism that is bothering you? Because I'm here to tell you, out of all of the isms, idealism is the only ism that seems to have all of our best interests at heart. Why not buy into it? Doesn't it seem foolish to not buy into it at that point? Can't you at least consider its premise a little bit more seriously now? Do you see the point that I'm trying to make? The community comes together and they show us this kind of love. When you're a part of that, it changes your life. It does. I mean, end of story, dude. I am a fragile human like the rest of us. When you get that kind of support, when you feel that kind of love, it'll change you forever. It will change you forever. You'll never be the same. Once you feel what it is to be part of something so much bigger than all of us, and we get to have a part in that, it's amazing. It will leave the indelible impression on your soul forever of you were witness to good, positivity, love. I have some, I ended, before I left there, I talked about be careful with your revolt, with your revolution. Because the ruling class has brought our enemies here on our own soil. Who are those people? Who are our enemies? People like to complain about things, and we have all these kind of labels that we can put people in, and people are very comfortable with saying things like, you're too nationalistic. You sound xenophobic. Well, yes, I do love my country for sure, and to say that somebody is xenophobic is basically saying that they're racist or sexist or prejudiced, and that typically is the last place of refuge for a man that really does not have any answers. He's good at spitting back the jargon that he has heard. Oh, well, you're a xenophobe. You're a racist. That's not even dealing in reality. You have to think about this. The other thing that I prefaced was we elected a man named Barack Hussein Obama. He probably doesn't even sound like he's friendly to the U.S., right? But we elected him to represent our nation. How prejudiced do we sound as a people at that point, if there is any legitimacy to the national voting? I personally do not believe there is. I know there are people that believe that there is. So working from that premise, if there is legitimacy to the national voting system, then that shows an incredible amount of open-mindedness. We just got attacked by people who shares his name, 2 of them, and we elected him. Doesn't that show an incredible amount of open-mindedness? So who is our enemy that the ruling class has brought over here? Well, if you feel like you woke up and then one day there was an apartment complex filled with foreigners, from Somalia, from, some other country, then you're not alone. Americans wouldn't choose to do that. We wouldn't give people refugee status, which means mandatory for 7 years. They never pay taxes on anything, and they're given cars, phones, places to live, money for food, or food stamps, and then money to live off of. Mandatory for 7 years. Where does that come from? That comes from the backs of your grandparents and the sweat of their brow. That's where it comes from. That's a fact. You can say that it's, xenophobic. You can say that it's whatever. The fact is you're incapable of engaging in an honest dialogue. You are disingenuous, not only with me, but with yourself. Because and really all that is an admittance that I'm right. It substantiates my claim. Because you don't have an answer. When I tell you that Americans would not bring a bunch of Somalians in by the freaking plane loads and then give them refugee status, that has nothing to do with racism, people. That has everything to do with economics and a country's sustainability. Nobody. There isn't a country on earth that will tell you that is sustainable, because it's not. It's a way to destroy a country. You lost your country, your enemy is running it, and this is another way to destroy you. Think about it. They won't close the border, but they'll send troops into 130 out of 190 countries in the world, but can't protect the Mexican border. I mean, come on, man. This is obvious. These people are your enemies. This ruling class is your enemy. And those folks that they bring in on refugee status, The reason they end up being our enemy is almost by proxy. You know, it's not that they come here like I freaking hate America, but I'm gonna go because I like hamburgers. You know, that's not so much it. Think about this, okay? They don't have to assimilate into our society. We're the only country on earth that'll bring you in, and you can have your own little Somalia here. You can have your own little part of Africa here. You can have your own little Dearborn, Michigan part of Mega Mosque Arabia here. We're the only country in the world that does that. Read other countries' immigration laws. Any country's immigration laws. They basically tell you, we don't want you here, we don't like you, you don't want to be here, don't come here. And if you do come here, you're really not going to have a lot. I mean, seriously, read the immigration laws. Think about it. We're the only country that does this. So our ruling class, to further destabilize us both socially and economically, takes advantage of our kindness and our open-mindedness, and the next thing you know, we have entire neighborhoods full of people who do not speak our language, can barely drive a car. I'm not saying this to be an ass. I'm saying this because it's a fact. You know, when they take their driver's test, they don't even have to take it in English. Wait a minute. They need to know what stop means. One way. No turn on red. They got to understand these things. You know? It only makes sense. All the Cubans coming in from Cuba into Florida, they got to go back to Cuba. Sorry, guys. I know that there was a law that said, you know, once you step on American soil, you're good. I don't know who made that law. That's freaking ridiculous. No one, that doesn't represent the will of the American people. We need to get it back to the will of the American people. And it isn't a bunch of hatred that I don't want people here that don't speak my language, right? It has nothing to do with some emotion that says I don't like you or I hate you. The fact is the ruling class has either brought you here or allowed you to come to destabilize my country. This doesn't have anything to do with my personal feelings towards any of you. It has everything to do with my feelings towards my own homeland. You are hurting us. And you know it. You are further destabilizing our country because your country is garbage. If you don't believe in borders and could be anywhere in the world, what in the hell are you doing here? You could be anywhere, right? And if you're from a warm weather country, what in the hell are you doing in Ohio, Maryland? You know you hate the snow. Stop it. Don't act like you have some claim to this place because you don't. Our ruling class enabled you to have your own neighborhoods where you never have to speak our language. You can go to your own stores with your challah meat and you can get your own publication written in your own language and tongue. You never once have to assimilate to our culture. This is what the ruling class has allowed you to do, not the American people. This does not represent the will of the American people, and it has not for a very long time. We want you out because we want our country back. It doesn't have so much to do with you personally as it has to do with the choices our ruling class made to bring you here. Now make no mistake, once we get our country back and send your butts back home, and our country starts to become a better place to live, just like when our ruling class took over and sent soldiers to 130 out of 190 countries in the world, we will affect those countries as well. But it won't be with war. If Mexico's in a bad spot, half of you are here anyway, and you already have guns. If you are Mexican and you are not supposed to be here, get your guns, go back to Mexico, get your freaking country back, and do what we did 250 years ago and what we're about to get ready to do now. But you are hurting us, and you know it. You are hurting this country. That's why we want you out. Once we have control of our country back, dude, you're talking about normal people, man. You're talking about regular people. Of course we're going to help our neighbors. We're not the same jackass Ivy League nitwit ruling class that has allowed Vicente Fox and every other Mexican leader to say, hey, America, we're going to legalize pot. And then America sends them a check so that they don't. You know, those are the politics of the past. That has nothing to do with our will. We do not want our neighbors living in squalor. That's not what we want. That's not what the American people want. It's ridiculous to even insinuate that that could be the case. Because that doesn't represent the will of any of us. We want to be able, on vacation, to go down to Mexico. It be a nice, peaceful, prosperous place. That's where the interest of the American people lie. Even though it might be a little bit selfish, we're not stupid enough to think that if we have a bordering country that is in, total revolt, and it's being run by the drug cartels, and the drug cartels are the government, and this, that, and the other, and there's all this mess going on, we know that's going to affect us. Ask El Paso. Ask all of our bordering states. We know it's going to affect us. That is not what we want for you, Mexico. It's not. We want you in your homeland, and we want you to be there in a very positive light. We want your country to heal. We want you to be okay. We don't want you to have to fear the drug cartels and a messed up economy and, where everyone's trying to come up here just to live. Dude, we feel bad for you guys. We hate what's going on there, but you are hurting us by coming here. You are further destabilizing our country, along with our ruling class who sees fit to fly in every freaking foreigner who claims to have a disaster going on in their country. And some of them do. It's like, come on, man. And the American people? Look, man, this is what I think. And I know I have crazy ideas, but this is my proposition. If I was Lord and King of the Americas, like former King Bush or King Obama, I would put damn near everything to a vote. And we would fix the voting system. It really wouldn't be that hard to fix it. It's really not. I know it, everyone wants to say it'd be some complicated process. It's really not. It'd be very simple. And then once everything's, once you have it squared away on the local level, then your national vote makes sense. So, no voting machines, we're going to do it old school until we're all telepathic. And, say Botswana, petitions the U.S. like, dude, we're hurting, we need help. Because I would cut funding to everybody. Yes, that means Israel, okay? For all the Judeo-Christian Israel lovers out there, all right? Check it out. They are hurting us. They take a ton of money from us every year. I don't know why we even give them that money. I'm not even sure what the reason is. You know what I mean? Why are we giving them all of this money? Don't they have a gross domestic product? Haven't we given them enough money over the years that by now they could have invented their own gross domestic product to be able to take care of themselves? Why are we giving them hundreds of freaking $1 billion a year? We can't afford that. That's killing us, Israel. You're hurting us. And you can be our friend, but maybe you should be a little bit friendlier. Maybe we can't afford to give you this money. It goes for everybody. I would pull the money from everybody, right? And then we'd have a list of all these countries that are just freaking down and out, that the ruling class has continually gone over there and extorted these people, whether they work with the American Red Cross or the International Red Cross, to extort the mothers and fathers that have had children kidnapped to go work in a diamond mine. You have to get your kid through Red Cross. Well, the only way you can do that is through a ton of money. It's a huge racket. Well, again, that's not in the interest of the American people. That doesn't represent us, and that's not what we want. So we would actually go over there, build them an infrastructure, and say, there you go, check it out. We just took all of former Halliburton's equipment, built you a pretty decent city there. You got running water and things. Now we're gone, okay? We're going to leave. You destroy your city? Well, that's on you. Because we hooked it up. You got freaking water fountains and everything. Drinking fountains and the whole deal. So don't mess it up. Don't be a dumbass. And then we're out. We don't spend any more money. But we would only do that if the American people voted on it and said, yes, we want to help this country. And say the majority of 5 states said, yes, we want to, but the majority of other states said, no, we don't want to. Then those 5 states get together, Their leadership gets together and says, okay, our people said they do want to help. So how much money can we allocate from, this state can allocate this much, this state can allocate this much, and then you get together on it, State sovereignty. It's a beautiful, wonderful thing. Individual sovereignty. National sovereignty. We need those things. Our ability to regulate and govern ourselves as a nation or a state, as a person. We can't live without those things. Now, if you look, all of this globalization and stuff is a blatant attempt to say, no, you're not sovereign. It's the same kind of people in D.C. that say the child belongs to the community, not the parents. If you're a parent, do you want to smack the person in the face that would say something like that to you? Because I can find you the person in the video and everything. Tell me my children are not mine, but they belong to everybody. Didn't the same ruling class used to bastardize a bunch of hippies for thinking along those lines? I'm having mic issues today. I apologize. Testing. Tesla, testing. They're telling me it was distorting a little bit. I was adjusting it. Okay. Cool. I got it squared away there. Sorry, guys. I'll get a better mic. Maybe for Christmas. So, we have these things to consider. Be careful when you revolt. Your ruling class has brought our enemies here. They are our enemies because they are destabilizing our nation. And we need them to go back home. Not in some, pitchforks and torches kind of a way. We just need to ask them to be decent. Dude, it's time for you to go home. Our ruling class brought you here from Somalia. We got the money. We can send you back, dude. And whatever you do from there is on you. Oh, well, you're sending me back to my death. Well, check it out. How long have you been here? Why didn't you buy a gun? Get some money together. Get you a gun. We'll send you back with guns, because you can buy them from Remington. And, go get your stuff back. Whatever it is, man. But we need to worry about us, and there is nothing wrong with the United States of America minding its own damn business. It's not that I don't want to help people with AIDS. I want to help people with wherever I can, with whatever I can. But you for damn sure can make no mistake that I want to help mine first. I want to help out the hippies out in San Francisco. Those are my people. Then we can start talking about people around the world. Then we can start talking about, okay, let's have, the states vote on who wants to help these folks, right? I mean, does that make too much sense? Is that ridiculous? Is that also way too idealistic? Yeah, that's what you've been pulverized with, huh? You'd be beat to death with that type of thinking. We did show open-mindedness in this country by electing a man by the name of Barack Hussein Obama. And it's because we're not a hateful people. We are an open-minded people. We do believe in freedom. That's who we are. Now, let me touch on a couple of other things. There was another documentary I started to watch. I didn't get through everything last night. It's called United We Fall, and it's by Press for Truth. I don't know anything about them. I was just looking for random videos, trying to check stuff out. And there was something there that caught my eye at whatever early morning hour that was this morning. And I send me some videos if you guys have some better links, but in this one I was talking about our boy Henry Kissinger, the murderer, yesterday, and this is in regards to NAFTA. I want to kind of piggyback off of Kissinger again. He said NAFTA will represent the most creative step towards a new world order, and the first step toward the even larger version of a free trade zone for the entire Western Hemisphere. NAFTA, if you're unfamiliar, is the North American Free Trade Agreement. It is a horrible idea for many economic reasons. It helps business, but it hurts people, and that's what it's been shown to do in practice. But old Kissinger, first part of the quote, NAFTA will represent the most creative step towards a new world order. Those are his words, not mine. His words, not mine. And that's in United We Fall, done by Press for Truth. Also, look into every time. Look, if somebody is telling you that they're running a drill, if the government is running a drill in your neighborhood, my advice, get out. Anytime there's a drill, leave. Just go, because it's going to be bad. We're getting ready to go to break, but I want you guys to think about a couple of other things before I do and during the break here. Many have protested before us in this country. We're all aware. Protests didn't just go on in the 60s and 50s. They were going on in the 30s. They were going on in the 20s, in 1910, 1800s. Protestant. Protestant means to protest or profess the faith. We come from, Protestant people. This is our nature. So what makes us any different now? People have been protesting for a long time. What makes us any different now? That's the first question I want you to think about while we go on break. The second one is, why are we taking gun rights away from so many vets? These are the most highly trained gun enthusiasts or firearms operators that we can offer, and we know this because they come out of our military, from our military training. Now, they're very quick, ask a veteran, very quick to label a veteran as somebody who is no longer able to operate a firearm or own a firearm. But they don't give them the treatment, the hospital treatment, and the psychological treatment very quickly, do they? You know what I mean? Think about that. Consider that. I'm here to tell you that if somebody told you you no longer have your gun right, I'm here to tell you, yes, you do. Yes, you do. I don't care what Brady bill they pass. I don't care how much public outcry there is. You have a Second Amendment right, period, end of story. It is not to be infringed. It has nothing to do with a record. It has nothing to do with registration. You have a right as an American citizen to bear your arms. Get them, bear them, do not register them. This is if you are legally allowed or not, with their unjust laws that they... Remember, everything Hitler did was legal. Everything Hitler did was legal. So just because they keep passing these BS laws does not make them legal. You have a Second Amendment right to bear arms regardless. I don't care who in some trusted position of authority told you you weren't. They're wrong. Your Second Amendment right didn't go anywhere. You're allowed to have a firearm. Get one. Or 10. Personally, I like the Facebook meme that I saw that says, I believe all homosexuals should be able to protect their pot plants with their guns. That's freedom, people. That there's freedom. That's what it looks like. We're going to go on a break here, but I want you to think about the many that have protested before us. So what makes us any different, folks? This is Diametric Opposition on the Right Side Media Network. Check out our local businesses, one of which, Sassy Chick's New and Rustic Trading Post, when you can. We'll be back here shortly. Thanks, guys.